Hi guys, welcome back to our channel, Ultimate Crypto Bureau. Today, I'm going to do a quick video regarding the price action on BTC. I know some of you guys have been asking me about, what BTC is currently doing, how far it's going to go up, what we can expect in the short term, what can we expect in the long term, what can we expect in the medium term. So today in this video, we're going to discuss about all these aspects. And I also wanted to share a couple of BTC news, BTC related news that we can review together and see what this actually means. So first, I'm going to start by reviewing a couple of news headlines that we have recently seen in various news media channels and also on various crypto-related sites as well. The first one is, as you guys may know, recently BlackRock has filed for Bitcoin spot ETF. What does that actually mean? So BlackRock actually has filed an application within SEC in US, and what this means is they want to start trading ETFs for spot Bitcoin, meaning that if anybody who are the clients of BlackRock can participate buying this ETF, and in return, BlackRock has to buy the actual Bitcoins to be able to sell this product to its clients and to anybody globally. That means clearly BlackRock will be buying Bitcoin if this application gets approved and they start this ETF product for spot Bitcoin. So why is this very important for Bitcoin and crypto in general? The reason is that this will enable crypto to go mainstream. This will enable crypto to go in front of the Wall Street traders, firms, investment firms, asset managers, pension funds. They all will be able to participate and invest within the Bitcoin spot ETF, meaning there will be a lot of exposure by big banks towards cryptos. And in fact, this is a bullish sign that will make crypto prices and the next bull market even better and even bigger. So as you guys can see, second headline we recently saw was that the Fidelity, who is the second biggest asset manager in the US, has also filed for a Bitcoin spot ETF, joining other firms including BlackRock, WisdomTree, Invesco, ARK, and a couple of others as well. What does this mean to Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies in general, crypto markets in general? This means that there is a lot of demand from institutional investors to have a product where they can actually invest directly or indirectly through the spot ETF, or by buying the futures of the Bitcoin. As we know, Bitcoin futures already exist, and they are already trading in CME and in CBOE as well, because Bitcoin is classified as the commodity under US government law at the moment, and both the agencies, the CFTC and SEC, has described Bitcoin as a commodity. So once these spot BTF applications, gets approved by SEC, obviously they have currently, initially has rejected the application of the BlackRock from what we hear in the news and all these other firms who have applied for it. The reason is they want to get more clarity, they want to have more information. And obviously, when big firms with large amount of money gets involved, in any sort of product, financial product, obviously they are registered with SEC themselves. So that it's very clear, very transparent. And I believe it's a matter of time before some of these ETFs, especially for BlackRock, especially for Fidelity, and especially for Invesco and a couple of others, will definitely will get approved. SEC will then have no reason not approving this ETFs, basically, which will be really good news for crypto. It will be actually a very bullish signal for cryptocurrencies. And along with the incoming halving coming in around April 2024, this will be another catalyst on top of what's coming. And hopefully this will create a massive bull market for the crypto industry and for Bitcoin and all other good coins in general. So guys, now let's jump onto some technical analysis on Bitcoin. So what I've done here is I've actually quickly marked the price levels that has very strong support and very strong resistances in the past and up till now. So as you guys can see, this is a daily chart of Bitcoin, and the very recent low that we saw in November 2022, roughly around 15.5K USD. That was the lowest we have seen for the past 7 months. And as you guys can see from the chart, that since then Bitcoin has been slowly going in the upward direction. Yes, it has a small pullbacks, but it also has been going in one direction only, and that is going up. So I'm going to draw some charts on the some lines on the chart so you guys can see what has happened to the price action of Bitcoin. So first and foremost, around here in November 2021, when Bitcoin was at its peak price around 69,000 or 69,000, and since then it has fallen down all the way. So we're going to draw a trend line all the way from here, coming down all the way to where 15,000 was, right? And as you guys can see, the price action here, it hit that resistance, which was the highest point at the time. It's kept on dropping, created another resistance around 59 to 60,000 here. As you guys can see, you have it's dropped from here in May 2021, went all the way down to 30,000, then went back all the way back up. Again, dropped a little bit. It dropped all the way around 53,000, jumped back all the way to 60,000. It's found a resistance. As you guys can see, the price dropped from here, price dropped from here. So from around 60,000, there's a very strong resistance. Again, then it dropped all the way down to 42,000, and then it moved back, jumped back up again to 52,000. In process, creating another resistance point, which is around 52,000. As you guys can see, the price slightly moved above it, and then it dropped down. Again, slightly just hit that resistance, and it's came all the way down here. And as you can see, if you see this trend line resistance that Bitcoin has formed, then it came down to around 48,000. And since then, it never went back to 48,000 till up. As you guys can see, this is 30th of March 2022. That's when it was last at 48,000, and it's just kept on dropping and dropping and dropping. So now the tide has really turned. If you have a look what is happening with the price action, I'm going to zoom in a little bit to see the actual price action. As you guys can see, that trend resistance has now been broken around this area here. So when it was around 19,000, of course, it went all the way to 15,500, right? That was the lowest price we have seen in November 2022. And since then, as you guys can see, Bitcoin has been on the upward curve. So if I draw another trend line, because the trend now has reversed, So this is your double bottom here. And if I take a trend line from here and continuously draw it, as you guys can see here, that it has created a nice support level here. Yes, we had a little bit of a support that was dropped, price action that was dropped below the support. However, it was very short-lived for a few days, and it suddenly jumped back over the support line. As you guys can see, a little bit of a drop, jumped over the support line. Here, it touched the support line around 22, 24, 25,000, and is jumped all the way back up. So what does this actually show you here? It's very clear to me that this is an upward trend line now that BTC has created. So if I draw a nice line here and create a nice as you guys can see here, that it has, this is your resistance line here, the one I'm pointing, and the price has fallen when it's touched this resistance line. So as you can see guys here, first resistance was met here, it dropped from, and this was the support around 20,000, so it went back and hit the resistance again. It's dropped all the way down, right? That was your two resistance points here. Again, from this, it created a nice support level at 20,000. So it jumped back up again, but all the way to this resistance line again. And as you guys can see, around 28 to 29,000, it dropped again. Then it tried to hit the resistance line again. And as you guys can see, literally it has dropped and dropped from this resistance line. So it dropped again, and he's gone all the way down to around 25,000 again, because obviously we had a lot of recent news coming out, SEC going after Binance and Coinbase. So Bitcoin prices have been fluctuating as a result of all this news around. So, however, if you guys can see, if I just point on this section here, and I'm going to create like a nice little rectangle here. So if I create a nice rectangular design here, around here, and I can say support level became resistance. So as you guys can see, there was a nice support level here. However, this has become a resistance point up till certain, as you guys can see on the right-hand side now, it became a resistance level here, touched once, touched twice, touched three times, went all the way down. And as we know in technical analysis, that support can become resistance and resistance can become support. So now, you may have noticed that currently the price action of Bitcoin is around over 30, roughly or just over 30,000. And as we can see, we have a small resistance around 31,500 to nearly 32,000 if I just include these guys over here. So around 32,000. So I believe that this price action that we've seen here, as I'm just going to zoom in a little bit more, I believe this will easily go to this price around 32,000, try to hit this resistance. And based on how strong the resistance is, so if we zoom out from here, and if I draw, as we can see, our lines, it was a support here, and then price jumped back up. This was going all the way back in June 2021. Again, if we have a look at this, this was a support here as well, and the price jumped all the way back up. Again, a support here, going all the way back up to 40,000. So the area that currently we are approaching between 32,000 and 30,000, this currently is a massive zone of liquidity on both directions. Could easily drop down and hit the support level again around, this area here, 27, 28,000. Or if the momentum continues, we will easily can break this 32,000 level resistance. This is not really a very strong resistance. Yes, we have, fallen once and twice from there. So potentially we might touch it, we might drop back, come into 30,000 again, and then make a move up. So potentially, I would say that at this area around here, it's got a lot of price action. And from here, potentially, my expectation is that we could definitely see around 34 to 35,000 first. And even then, if I zoom in at around 34,000, as you guys can see, it was a support level before. It was also support level this date as well, back in February 2022. And also in January 2022, it was a support zone. So once we reach 34,000, potentially we could have a little bit of a pullback towards 32,000 again. And then we could see potentially it going past the very first resistance that we might see, a real resistance we might see is around 40,000. So just around here, we could potentially see some sort of a resistance around $40,000. So the key areas to look for is what the price action will do here. So if the momentum in BTC continues, which I can see, it's clearly an upward movement happening in Bitcoin price, we could easily see the price jump back all the way to at least 34,000. And if that gets broken, any good news coming out in the markets, or any bull rally coming out in the markets, then we could potentially easily see 40,000 in the next couple of months. And barring that the good news keeps on coming on, or if one of the ETF gets approved in potentially 3 to 4 months time, or maybe October, November time, we could easily see even 42,000 and 48,000 easily broken. The biggest resistance point that we have is around 48,000 here. So I'm just going to make this a little bit thicker. So I'm going to make this as a dotted line, so that becomes like our main focal point. So around 48,000, this is where the actual main first resistance is. If you move towards the left-hand side, you will see first touch there, never reached the price again. First touch there, price dropped. Second touch, the third touch there, price dropped. Fourth touch there, price dropped. So it's a very strong resistance around 48,000. So what I'm expecting to see is Bitcoin will continue its upward move with small pullbacks, and potentially we will see a movements like this, where we get a small pullback and then we get a massive jump back up. Any good news coming out about ETF or any other good news regarding cryptocurrencies will potentially see Bitcoin moving up in the upward direction. I believe, and according to what the technical analysis is telling us, we potentially do have a scenario where Bitcoin could easily finish 2023 around 48,000 or just above it, or even at around 48 to 50,000 price range. Around this price range, BTC could easily hit this price range or even higher. Remember, guys, considering that we have Bitcoin halving starting in the second quarter, I believe it's April, some date in April 2024, potentially this could be a sign of the bull market starting. So keep an eye on Bitcoin's price. Make sure you guys are not over leveraged, or make sure you guys are not shorting the markets or selling your Bitcoins or selling your Bitcoin futures in Binance and perpetual futures in Binance and other cryptocurrency exchanges. Make sure you look at the bigger picture, and the bigger picture is very clear. The bigger picture is, yes, we will have some pullbacks. However, the overall direction currently BTC has taken since November 2022 has been the upward movement. So just to ensure that you are actually, looking at the charts, looking at the longer time frames, you will get a picture which is very, very clear of what's going on with BTC. Okay, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and comment and subscribe to my channel for valuable information on Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. And I'll see you guys in the next